Hello guys, it's Adore from Maven, and today we'll be looking at building the following creative feature block section. To be a new block I'll be adding to the library, and I'll be using the core framework to build this section. And just want to also let you know that I've already built this kind of block that was similar, but the design is just a little bit different than the others I've built. In this case, I'm actually overlapping elements. The previous ones were like simple cards. This one is an overlapping. The cards are overlapping using grid columns and just overlapping them. So we'll just be going through them, and you'll learn a lot of stuff, right? Using positioning the grid items on the grid, and also obviously overlapping items, so positioning the image. And the way that this also has been built is the image is not part of the list, because all the cards are in an unordered list, whilst the image is not part of the list. But it might seem that way, because normally the way this is built is people will just use 3 columns and set it up that way. But then you're breaking up the content, right? Because the grid items on the left are also part of the grid items on the right, so it should be one list. So yeah, follow me as I build this, and yeah, let's just go through it. I think, yeah, let's just get started. Oh, by the way, I also want to show you how it looks like once it's responsive, right? So if we check the different devices, so this desktop, it goes smaller, so we reach tablet, the image goes away, right? It adjusts itself. The cards get a little bit longer, because before they were a little bit shorter, so they get a little bit longer. And then as we reach mobile landscape, it breaks again, and to the portrait, it just goes smaller. So basically this is it. So if we check, I hope iPhone looks good. Yeah, it looks good. Okay, so responsive, boom. Let us jump in. Here we go. So section, I'll just call this feature, I don't even know what to call this. Feature section cards, I don't know. Feature cards or something. Whoops. Feature cards section. And as for the container, we need to add the following blocks. So we need, first of all, we need an intro section, which I will just take from the library. So if you have the core library, you can just grab this section. So we have a centered version, a left aligned version, and a split version. So there you go. We just pull it into the container. So this is already responsive. As you see, you don't need to do anything. So that's done. So this will save us time. We move on to the next thing. We need a block for the future grid wrapper. Here we'll be adding our grid and our image. So we need 2 blocks. This will be the feature grid UL on our list, and this will be our media, where we will add our image. Let me just add that immediately. Image. So there we have it. We have our image, and we just give it a figure tag. So it's tagged. And in our feature grid UL, we add another block, which are the cards. So this is our feature card, which we add here. In a feature card, we have a heading and a basic text. Just add text to it. And we also have, oh wait, we need to wrap it in a block. Actually, we need 2 blocks. So this is the block. This will be the content. In this block, we'll need an icon, and the block's name itself will be called icon wrapper. Icon wrapper. So there we go. And yeah, I think we have all the players, all the elements we need are added to our structure. And let me just go and tag the necessary sections. So our feature grid UL needs an UL tag. Our card needs an LI tag. Our heading is H3, that's good. Our text needs a paragraph. And our image is already tagged with figure tag. And yes, so now we've added the necessary tags. Now we move on to the next section where we start styling the elements. So let's start from the top. So this will be, I'll just call this feature. It's always hard coming up with a name, right? Feature, I'll just call it feature card. Feature card what? You know what? I'll just give it a number. Make it easy for myself. Feature 35A. Let's do that. So I'll just copy that. And this is container. The reason why you might say, okay, 35A, what does that mean? Since I've already built this block, I named it feature 35. Why feature 35? Because I did not check the list of the amount of feature sections I've created. I guess it's 35 because the last one might have been 34. I'm not sure. Maybe wrong, but I can always change the class names, not a problem. So I just called it 35A to not conflict with the other classes. So yeah, so we have a container. We go to our wrapper. So this would be the just call it wrapper, and this would be our feature grid, the UL. Whoops. Feature grid UL, here we go, and then our feature card, feature, and just card. Copy that, and then this would be our feature card content, and this would be the feature card heading. This would be our feature text. And this will be the feature icon wrapper. And this will be the icon. Let me see. So now we have a card. And yeah, the media was not in the card, so it's just media. And this will be image. Yeah, sorry, my bad. Image, feature image. Okay, so let me move on to remove the spacing you see here. Once you add an ordered list, it adds 40 left padding to your so it indents the content, right? Because it's a list. So let's remove that. So we added a 0 here, and we also remove the margin top and bottom it adds. So we take that out, and so as you see, it's back now. It's aligned with the other content, and now we have all added classes. So let's start from the top. The settings, nothing needs to change there. Container, nothing needs to change there, but we need to add, something has changed. We need to add a container gap, but since I'm used to ACSS, we add a container gap. I've also added it here, right? But this is not a native core variable. So if you're using the core framework, you have access to the container gap. I can explain real quick why, because you might be thinking, why not use SpaceX? Because the container gap, content gap, grid gap is a variable created for that specific situation where you use a container gap. Because if I was using spaces everywhere, and let's say I wanted to change, let's say I want all my containers, right, that have a space of, let's say in core we have 2XL, right? I want it to be 3XL, so I have to go to every single instance where I've added that variable to make that change, right? To maybe just XL, or maybe even larger, like 4XL. But if I'm using the container gap variable, because this container gap variable is mapped to the spacing variable, it's tokenized to the, and it's mapped to the space variable, I just need to go to that variable, and then now the container gap is set to like space 2XL. I can just change that to 4XL and change everywhere. So that's easier, and it's a better way of handling this. Now this is not something that core has, so I added it here because I find it a very good feature to have. So if you own core framework, you have access to this if you import the core files, right? Okay, so in this case, I'm not going to use it because, yeah, if you're using core and you might not have this, I'm just going to use the space variable. So in this case, we say to Excel. Okay, let's move on. Spent a lot of time explaining that. So this is set. We don't need to do anything on the container. Feature with a wrapper. We don't need to do anything here for now, I think. Oh, we need to give it a position relative y, because later we're going to set the media element to position absolute, because we want to center it on the we want to center it on this container, on the feature grid container. So now the next thing is to wait, let me add an image so that I can at least see, so we can see the image. So just wait, let me just copy that URL, just add the URL so you can see the image. I want to see it. Set the object fit to cover. Aspect ratio can be 1 by 1 or 6 by 4. I think 1 by 1 would be good. 1 by 1, okay. For now, I think we can set this to, I want this to be about 46 rem. The height also be 46 rem. Doesn't need to be too large. Wait, or maybe 64. Well, we'll come back to the style later because I want it to be circular, right? Look at our example, it's round, so that's also what I want. We'll style that later. So now let's focus on the grid. So the grid. This is our grid. And this is, at the end of the day, this is what we want to do. So I'm not going to add like 3 rows, whatever, blah, blah. That's not what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is the following. I'm going to add my grid and add 12 columns, 12 lines. I don't write more than 12 or one more. Oh, this is 12. I might not have counted well. And then once I set that, I will then position these grid items on that grid. So I would say that all the odd items should be set to the left and all the even items should be positioned on the right, which I'll be using the grid columns to do that, right? So if this does not make sense now, it will make sense once I start styling it. So this is my goal. So let's continue. Go back to the editor. Let me make a change. This is B1. I think I will just add, let me just add all the cards. So, okay, I have to do it manually, duplicate. I cannot use the keyboard shortcuts because I'm using Loom to record this, and Loom, if I just the keyboard shortcut in Bricks for duplicate will bring up the pen tool of Loom. So yeah, I can do that. So we have 6 cards. So just this is 2. This is 3. This is 4, 5, 6. And as for the icons, yeah, we need different icons. Let's just show some variety so we don't have the same content, something different. And last but not least, maybe stop sign. Okay, now the next step is to, let's look at our card. Okay, we need a padding. So let me just link all sides. We need a padding of, let's just do, and then let us give this a background. I want a light background. Let's see. If you use the like BG body, BG surface padding, variables, if you toggle the light and dark mode, it will respond to it. So depending on what kind of design you're doing, you can do that. But this time I'm just going for the the light gray, the tint of dark. So the L9. Yeah, so I think this is the same. Yeah, it's the same color. Okay, and let's just give this a radius. So also L. So we have our rounded corners. And did I forget anything? No, I did not. Furthermore, is there anything that we need to do here? No, we don't need to do any. Yes, we do. I think I forgot something. I think I skipped. I didn't even set this into a grid yet. You know what? We'll come back to that. We'll come back to that. As for our cards, we're also going to set this to a 12 column grid. So you can do that here in core, 12 columns. So we have 12 columns now, and we'll do this with CSS. We will rate this. So I'm not going to do it. I could easily do it here, but I'll do it with CSS. So we're done for now. Let's go back to the grid. I'm going to add the 12 column grid also here. So okay, it looks broken, it looks ugly, but don't worry. Let's add a grid gap, which would just be a space. Normally, yeah, I would add grid gap, right? But like I said, I would explain the reason why I'm doing it this way. So now this is what we have. It looks ugly, but don't worry, we're going to fix this. So now the next step is let's go to our content. I'm also going to add a spacing on the row because I want my heading and the text to separate. I should have done that earlier. And on my icon, I wouldn't do nothing yet. We'll come to that. We'll also style that. So first, let us separate the content and the icon wrapper. So let us go to Style, CSS, root. I'm just going to style the content, right? Let's give it a base styling. So root, this is the card, but I want to target the content. So root content, oops, content, we'll say grid column. And then now we need to decide from where is it going to start, where is it going to end. So it starts, sorry, my bad. It starts from 1 and it runs to, I think, 10 or something. I don't know. I have totally no idea. Sorry, my bad. Then we close this up. And then our icon, I'll just say roots and then icon wrapper. We'll have to run from, because if I want it to overlap, let's say it goes from 9 to -1. And if you want it to be on the same row, we'll say grid row will be 1. Oh. And here also set to 1. So now they're on the same line. So whilst doing this, I just remember that I have actually not. I need to first of all determine the positioning, which I was going to do. So I'm actually positioning the content and the inner wrapper, but I need to position the cards first. So let us do that real quick. So root and child, odd, which is 1, 3, and 1, 3, and 5, right? I want it to be on the left, so we target those, and then we say that its grid column should start from 1 and run to 5, you know? So we have that, right? Let me also set the feature grid, because now it's stretching, so let me set it to center. Yes. And let's go back to my card. So now that we've set the odd, let's do the even. So that is 2, 4, and 6. So even should start from, we might have to tweak these numbers depending on how it looks like, because I always need to tweak stuff. So now, like, this is what I mean. So I just set something to see. So now we've positioned them. Now you can see the odd cards are shorter than the even cards. So let's fix that. Obviously I need to up the number, so let's say 9. Perfect. So 9 is what we're looking for. So they have the same sorry, they have the same width. So now we can actually see what we're doing, because before it's cramped, you cannot see. So I had to do this first. Okay, so let's come back to the content, and I will need to make another change because I added, as you can see, I added the background and the border box shadow to the card which is supposed to go on the content. So let's do that real quick. Just go down, and the dark and the border, we add a radius and we say all sides, so that is done. And we also give that a padding of M all sides, and I also removed it on the card. That was the mistake I made. Okay, so now it's looking much better. As for the card, we need to also center this, the grid. So I'm going to center it so that our icon is in the middle. And now we can actually go to our media. Have I given this a weight already? No, sorry, not our media, our icon wrapper. So the icon wrapper, I'm going to just also center this, right? So the icon is in the middle, and I'm going to add a background. Oh, I did not give the icon a class. I see. So this is just icon. Okay. So first things first, this should be smaller, so 3.3 RAM. I'm not touching the colors. I'll give this a background of white, and I will also add a padding of M around it. Here we go. And because I made the mistake of not because I did not add the class, and this is what you get if you don't do it right from the beginning. So you can also learn from this. I have to go to all the individual cards and apply the same class. Not cool. Glad it's only here. If I had this on multiple pages, doing this maybe on a later time, it would be just extra work. So let's add them real quick. Here are the cards, the classes. The classes. Okay, here we have the classes. Okay, let's continue. Now I'm going to add a radius, and because we want a circle, we'll go for radius 4. See, it's a circle. There we go. I'm thinking I might have to extend the length of the content, but we'll soon do that. So let's add a box shadow. So this, the blur is 10, no, 8, sorry, 8. The spread is 8, and just a light color 5. Here you go. See, so we have a drop shadow. Let me save real quick, and then let me collapse this because it's just getting out of hand. I go back to the future card, and now I want to extend the length. I want to add maybe one more track to it. So on the root content, I want it to run to 11, so you get this, as you can see. So this looks more similar to this, right? Okay, but then I run into certain issues, right? Because now you can see that the icon is too close to the text, so we need some padding here, right? And I will have to, on the even cards, I want to flip the icon to the other side, and I also have to then add spacing on the left instead of the right for the odd card. So we need to just style this up, right? So let's just do that. So on the feature card, so we have our base styling here. So let's go to root. I'm going to first add padding to the cards, and then I will do the magic here and flip this around. Or I could also do it this way, that I just style this as odd and then style this even. But I think I'll just first do it separately so it's clearer and you can see what I'm doing. So root, and then do. You know, it's best I add it here so that it's not. So I'm not adding classes. So I want the odd styling to be together instead of doing it here beneath. Maybe I should move this up. Let me move this up. Okay. I'll add some comments later to really let's do it real quick. This is cards. And this is just the even cards. Okay, so and root, this is the content. We're going to do the following. We're going to say that the padding inline end should be var space Excel, right? Okay, so we have some spacing. Maybe I should increase it to 2, so it's 2, see? And then what am I doing? I'm going to just paste it here on the even, and I'll have to set this to start instead of end. So this is just basically padding left, this is padding right. So padding on the right side, we need space here because the icon is going to come to this side. So we need to do a little bit more changes on the even arts. So first things first, we have to change the grid columns. So where did I define it? I think here. The grid columns has to switch. It has to be, let's say, this should be obviously -1, and this should be, I think, I'm not sure, maybe 4 or something, or 5. Sorry, or 3. I don't know. We'll figure this out. And let's also change the position of the icon wrapper. This doesn't need this, and this should start from 1 and it should run to like 4. So let me just check if this is good. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, seems to be legit. It's just that I'm not happy with the spacing though, so I can always change it here. I think it's too much, you know. Let's just bring this down both sides, yeah, like that. So as you can see, I'm just visually it looks the same, right? Yeah, okay, it looks the same. I think it's just the way that it's the orientation of the cards. No, it doesn't. Wait, whoa. Because I think this has to be a little bit longer. It doesn't look the same. So this should go to 5, right? So this would make sense because this is not touching the side. So this, okay, so this makes sense. Okay, this is good. 6, then maybe the 2x didn't make sense. Yeah, it made sense. It's a bit much, but it's good. Okay, so we have our settings here. Space M. Okay. Happy with it, quite happy with it. Okay, so we have our first slide differently than what I made because I added more space, so it doesn't really matter. Okay. So let's go. Let me just go to the styling real quick, see what we've done till now. So what we've basically done is we've positioned the cards, and I have flipped the icon from the right side to the left on the even cards. And what I'm going to do now is position the media image in the middle. So we'll go to our media wrapper or block, and then I change the positions to absolute. I set the width to auto, or else it will be displaying a 100% container and my image will not be centered. So we set the left to 50% and the top to 50%, and then we go to our transform and we set this to -50% and -50%, and this will center your image. And the reason why it's done this way is if you decide to add more cards, maybe you have 9 or whatever, this will always be in the middle. Because I could have left out the top, but then it will only be in the middle for the left side, and then it will be stuck to the top, which is not what you want. This is supposed to be in the middle. And now we go to our image and we add the radius to full. We set it to full on all sides, preferably, and we go to layout, overflow, hidden, to hide the sides, and then we go to our featured grid UL, and I will then elevate it on top, or set to of 1, so that our icons come on top of it. And this is basically what we were going for. Now in this case, I think this image is, because of the space, I use more spacing, so it looks a little bit different, but this is basically what we're aiming for. So we have basically our layout we're going for. So now let's move on to the next step and fixing the different devices, right? So on tablet, this is what happens. So now what I want to do here on this breakpoint is the following. So I'll just go back to my styling. I'll say add media, and then that will be, I think it's, I do a min width. Maybe I should have been doing a min width. Should have been doing a min width. I think so. Yeah. You know what? I'll just do a, but I'll have to do it twice though. Reason being because on the desktop has a different styling, the tablet has a different styling, but that's okay. So I will do a min width. Yeah, don't worry about what's going on there. So this will be min width is it 991? I'm not sure. Yeah, this should be 991, yes. Okay, and then we'll just close this. Whoops. And then I'll just duplicate the whole thing. I set this to 767. Reason, yeah, set it to 767, and then on, I think here I should add, I think I need to also add, let me copy this real quick. I'll add the image. No, I'll add image here because I want it to display, set to display none. No. I have to add it. Wait, I'm a little bit confused myself. Once you reach here, I want the image to be gone. I'll get to that. We'll come back to that. So min width 767. What I want to see there is that this has to be much longer. I think 7, if I'm correct. I'm not sure. And why is it changing here? Am I at the right? No. I'm doing this wrong. Let me set it to this is overwriting it. Wait. Min width. So if it goes up to 991, it will show this layout. But I want, after 991, I wanted to show something different. So I can opt for max width, but I might have to change the max width again. You know what, let's just go for, I say, it should be 992, and this should be, I'll just do a max width. 992, 991, oops, 991, and I change this to 7. It should be 7 here. Okay, so that makes sense. Okay, cool. And then let me see, 992, 991, and this should be, I think, also 7. Put it at 6, see what happens. Okay, it breaks. So 7. So this, okay, so this runs from 1 to 7, and this runs from 7 to -1. Wait, let's take that out. Okay, it's basically the same, but obviously because we're missing a little bit of space. Okay, so it's good. Okay, cool, it's good. And let me go back to my card. So that's what I wanted. So now what I want to do is take this and say that this is the image, the media. Display media as none. So this would just be root media display none. Whoops, display none. Did I put it correctly? Display media. Oh, my bad. It's not I'm not supposed to put it here. You know what? Okay, then if that's not the case, okay. The reason why it didn't work is the media is not a child of the card, right? So that doesn't make any sense what I just did. So I just need to go. I'll just go to the media here and just do. I could obviously write the CSS here and to work, but I'll just set this to display now. Okay, then it's gone. So what I did was not correct. That's why it didn't work. Okay, so we basically have this, and most of you might see that sometimes when you're building something, obviously you're going to be going back and forth, and you know, and it's not like I'm creating the perfect tutorial, like I'm just doing it step by step, and also thinking, and because I'm also building it a little bit different than I built it the first time, so just bear with me a little bit. So okay, we have this. So I want to go to the next step. So here, this is where I wanted to just get, I just wanted to stack, right? Okay, so we can create a new media query. We just have it stacked. It would have been better if it was a min width situation where after a certain Once it passes a certain width, it just goes back to its normal behavior. But don't worry, I will set that straight. So just copy this again, and this is where it just goes back to its normal behavior. So 767, 767. This will just be set to, I just want this to be a span 12, and this should just span 12. And at the same time, I will then set the mobile landscape. This is also a cool layout, right? So it's alternating. You could also do something like this, but that's not what we're doing here. Here, I'll just set this to, if I'm correct, this should be, no, on the grid, this should be 1. So that it's no longer, oh, and wait, I don't even need to change that. That's my bad. I don't need to change that because I'm spanning it 12 columns. So what I have to do here is just put back to give the even cards the same measurement as the odd cards to make it face the same way. Let me see what I even did here. With the icon on the right, on the left, the icon is on the, okay, the icon is on the right side. So this is what we're going to be doing. So I go back to the here max width 767, and then say on the even cards it should get the same. So we need to flip this back on, where is it? Where did I put in the, why can't I find it? This is 111 and this is 91. Then where did I add that code? I am lost. Ah, here. Sorry guys. I was looking at it the whole time. So 1 so it goes back to 111 and 9 minus 1. So if I go here, it should be the same. Okay, so now what I want is, I want this to be shorter, right? I want the content to be longer, and I want the icon to be shorter. So let's also make that change. So this will go to 12 and this will go to 10. So this is how that looks. Oh wait, totally changed it on the even, so that means I have to, okay, and I need to also add it here. I need to also add it here because I'm making a new change. Okay, so this will be odd. So this is good. And as for the grid column, just copy this and I add it here, and voila, it's the same. And then that's the change. That will be our media. We need to make a change there too. Let's go back to the media. Why am I saying media? I mean icon wrapper. I think I didn't write CSS for that. I put it on the in the bricks editor styling. Yeah, I set it to center, right? Did I? Yeah, okay. So here I could say, okay, move to the end, right? And at the same time, I want to increase the padding. I want to make this a little bit larger because I did that on the first time I built this. I made it larger. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll go back to the card styling, and where is it? Here on the icon wrapper. I don't have a styling for it, so I would say icon, yeah, root icon, and then just the padding all around would be var space. I did M, so maybe XL. Let's see how that looks like. So this changes, obviously. I also have to do it for the odd cards, but I think I would just remove, because I'm not gonna, there's no need to write that twice. So we have our cards, and then target the root card, and should free for all. So this is good. Next, let's give these, let me give this a, call this increase icon padding. There we go. So we've done that, and as you can see, I need to make some changes to the left padding, and I also need to make that the same. So when it comes to this side, the start, it goes to the end, and the same goes for, okay, this one is already good, so I'm going to change much. So the end, I still need to make a change on the, what's it called, on the even card, because look, this one is good, and this spacing has to increase, but here we still have the left padding, and we also have a right padding now. So I need to change this on the content. I think here I need to duplicate this. So end and also start needs to be set to M, and this will fix the left problem. There we go. So the even cards are now aligned. But I think this, let me see, how does it look on mobile? So this has to be fixed. This is not good. The right padding is not correct. You need to fix that. So what do? We come back here and we say, okay, the end says it's 2x. So let's try 4x, right? Let's see just how that looks like. Okay, so I like that. How does it look on mobile? Okay, I like that. So let's also apply it to all the way down to here, 4x. And this should, let me save real quick, this should do the trick. There we go. And there we go. Now you could argue that you might want to add more padding to the top or the left side, the bottom, but that could be your choice. So now in less than an hour's time, we have created this, and I will all this stuff I've written here, I think this can be done a little bit more effective, because what I was actually aiming for is a solution where, and I would have to just look into this and fix it, but I don't want to bore you guys, maybe something that you might be interested in. But what I actually want to do is that I create a media query with a min width, where once you reach the mobile landscape, it will just resort back to its original state like this, right? And obviously there's also a middle step, but at the end of the day, okay, everything's working. It's be done more effective, most likely. Sorry, I just hope that you guys learn from this, and I've not done everything, straightforward, but we got to the end, and I hope you guys learned a little bit of stuff from this. I will obviously be adding annotations again to the video, so there will be different chapters, so you can always skip to the chapter that you want to see. And thank you for watching, and don't forget to leave a comment behind. Let me know what went wrong, what I could have done better, and I will speak to you guys soon. Thank you, and bye bye.